Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of Studio Talk. I know I haven't done these videos in a while because, as you can see behind me, I'm building my new studio. Almost done, and there will be a very long video about that later, especially the acoustics. But yes, today we are going over our track Show Me, which was just released on Black Hole Recordings. It's part of our album Moonstruck, and it's one of those tracks which makes you feel good. It's a feel-good trance track. Since I updated my studio and I'm on a new Mac, there are a few things that don't work. I'm missing a few plugins, for example, the Waves plugins, which I don't want to use anymore. But overall, I tried to make it sound as close as possible to what it was before. So yeah, let's go through it, and I'm gonna walk you through the kick and bass, the drums, you know, the usual, blah blah blah. So yeah, let's go.
Show me that you want me. Show me that you care. Tell me that you need me. Tell me you'll be there. Show me that you want me. Show me that you care. Tell me that you need me. Tell me you'll be there. Show me that you want me. Show me that you want me. Show me that you want me. Show me that you want me.
So yes, that's Show Me. The overall idea behind the track was to make really nice, uplifting trance track, which reminds you of all the good stuff which was happening in the trance music around the year 2000. The overall sound selection and sample selection, I was trying to get as close to the old school kind of feel without it sounding too modern, because everything is super sharp when it comes to modern trance music. So yeah, let's dive right into it. So we have our kick and bass bass. Let me play you. Typical offbeat bass. But yeah, let's go over the kick. The kick is from Sennheiser. I think I found it on Splice. We have DS10 drum shaper adding a little bit of attack and sustain with the soft clip option turned on. Basically, what the soft clip does, clipper is almost like a limiter, but the settings are not so crazy there. So it's attenuating the peaks a little bit, so then it's going to be way easier to mix and master it. You can usually with the DS10 you can pick either you're working on kick, snare, or all the drum basses. Then we have Shaper Box, which is one of my favorite plugins. This is the preset I made. I call it Kick Denoiser. It's a reverse sidechain. So what it does, it's a reverse multiband sidechain, but it's not really sidechaining the bass, but it's sidechaining the peaks in a way that I have it set to high, mid, and low frequencies. You can always use the trim curves down here, and it's attenuating the super high frequency on the kick, so it's super clicky. Then you have the mid-range, which is a little bit more with the body, and then you have the bottoms, which is nice and rounded, so your bass goes here. The wet and dry mix is usually 50 or 100%, depending what you want to do. So let me turn everything else off, and I'm going to show you how it sounds like with it and without it. So now you can hear that the kick is tighter. When you have a tight kick, but which is still super audible, it makes it way easier to work with the bass. Remember that, because tight kicks are awesome. Then we have another shaper box, which is probably adding noise. Yes, kick transient. This is the preset from the shaper box guys, and it's basically adding a little bit of noise on top of the kick. Yeah, just to make it punch through. I'm not using R-bass anymore because waves. Let's not go into that. Normally, now I would go to Denny's Audio and I would just use the basic cell, which basically does the same thing, but better. Then we have a fade to gray knob and utility. On the sub bass, we have it's silent, probably Armin sub bass. Yeah. So this is from the factory banks. It's Armin van Buren's short sub, doing regular offbeat. We have some Pro Q3, just folding the bass in place. Then we have shaper box for side chaining, yes, of course. Then we have Soothe too. Oh, I love this stuff. So Soothe 2 is a resonance attenuator, but you can set it in a way that it works with bass. You select the sidechain option here, so now I'm inputting my kick, so every time the kick hits, the sub bass is going to attenuate the frequencies where the kick is most audible. So the kick punches through nicely. Then we have another Pro Q3, yeah, just tweaking the bass a little bit. Utility for only the gain control, because I always like to use automation and not the actual clip volume, so it makes it easier in the end to, tweak the levels. And compression, which is set to my ghost note. It's a muted channel here in Ableton, which is just clicking, and I'm using it as a sidechain trigger. Then we have the bass. Much drive. Wow. Yeah, Diva, of course. Diva is always good for those basses. It's from probably Freshly Squeezed pack or Lovestrong pack, ARP bass, classic bass. Let me turn the processing on and off. So we're kind of molding it in place with EQ. Using thermal from Output Audio, which is my favorite saturator for basses. Then we're using soft tube bus processor. Oh, why are you so large? Doing a lot of compression, because I want each and every note, because it's a very rapid movement on the bass, I want each note to be in the equal volume, so it has the equal energy. Final EQ to tweak it into place a little bit. Another shaper box, most likely for sidechain, yes. Utility for volume. And another sidechain compressor, which is set to the sidechain trigger signal here. We have a few deep kick rolls and tonal snares. Nothing special. Ooh, something fun in the studio. Then we have Scratch Riser and Sub Riser. These come from the Seven Skies Effects banks, and they add a lot of excitement just before the drop and the new section. So listen to it in a contrast of the whole track. Then we have our drum section, which is really straightforward. Let me actually go to the build-up where the drums are more prominent. We have first loop, which is from XO. XO is a sampler in a way that it runs through all your samples, and it can create beautiful grooves just selecting your own sounds. So every single time you end up with something unique, which is awesome because I hate using pre-made drum loops. Even if you cut them down to individual splices, nah. Another EXO. So look, I can change the timbre of the drums. And you can see that it's actually going through my own sounds. Then we have 505 rim, which is phasing, just to give it a lot more movement. So if you, this is just quick 16th note with a little bit of, shuffle at each individual section, just to make it more interesting. But it's super static, and I don't want it to be static, so I'm adding EQ to mold it into place. Ableton Phaser, this preset, Afraid of Bees, works really well. Duck, which is sidechain, and another sidechain compressor. Open head, nothing on it, straightforward. This is the loop I made in a different project, and I'm using it here. I don't have spaced out from Baby Audio. I need to buy that. Yep. Yeah, well, never mind. You can use any other reverb with the reverse reverb function, and it's going to work the same. We have our ride sample, which is from Activa Pack, with a really crazy EQ and a soothe, just to make it sound a little bit smoother than it was before. Quick heads. Just with EQs. And yeah, a little bit of auto panning on the closed head. Because without it, again, you are stuck with the same boring loop. So let's make it pan to the left and right super quickly. As you can see, I'm using the 1/4 ratio, quarter of a bar. And an EQ. Which gives it a little bit of variety. Much better. We have our snare and clap. Yeah, considering the fact that I don't have the I Hate New York compressor here, the volume should be way higher. A little bit snare from Dave Parkinson and clap from Activa, just a combination of those two. And there is a Vengeance Club Sounds Volume 1 drum fill. Nothing crazy. Snare bass, again. Very old school, very typical, no phasing on it, no risers on it. I want it to be as pure as possible. Our crash with reverb. But now we come to the interesting part, leads. So I'm using 3 spires. Normally I don't like using spire that much because it's super aggressive. I know you can tone it down with the EQ, but the whole processing of it is, why use spire when you can use Serum or Diva. But for this particular style I was going for, the spire was the best choice. So one pluck, really mid-range focus pluck, one super high with phaser. So we're using Shaper Box with high drive, which is adding filtering and drive on the high frequencies. But the best part is considering the fact that those leads are chord-based, tun 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 tun. It's not an arpeggiated melody. I needed those chords to have movement. The easiest way to get movement to your leads is take one individual sound and just phase it so it's moving behind, the actual sound. And Arturia Phaser is really good in a way that you can set it to have 2 different sweeps. One is set to 8 bars and one is set to 4 bars. And listen to what it does to the track. Phasing beautifully left and right. It creates a lot of movement. Even if it's not audible at first, you can eventually definitely hear it in the track. A little bit of EQ and super high energy. High. So all together. And of course they work the best with combination with the leads. Let me go back and talk about the processing on the leads. So we're cutting away everything below 200 Hz. We have some soft tube tape saturation. Just doing a little bit, we're hitting around 0 dB. Then we have soft tube bus processor. Again, why are you so large? Yeah, let's actually go quickly here and set this as a default size. Problem fixed. Now we have Shaper Box, which will be doing the sidechain, yes, and Stutter Edit, which is doing the phasing just before the new drop hits. Yeah. Then we have Endless Smile. Where is it actually doing? Yeah, right here. Then we have delay tape, Arturia delay set to 1/4 dotted, 1/8 dotted, basically a really nice trance delay, old school. We have soft tube clipper just to get rid of the peaks, so it's easier to mold it later on in the track. And I'm not using 100% dry and wet, I only want it a little bit to be sausage-like, you know, so it's more cohesive. And Valhalla Vintage Reverb. At the end we have another EQ, another sidechain, and some filtering going on in this section.
Show me that you want me.
Now we will go to the pads, leads and strings, piano arps, break in a pluck, and string section. So the main lead will be Diva, yes. Diva is really good when it comes to those poly-sounding leads. No, Serum is good as well, but Diva is probably the best. This is the preset on its own. And I'm using the free plugin which is called Pitch Drift from Baby Audio, and what it does, it's actually putting a little bit of oscillation and pitch drifting on each individual sound. Probably I explained it wrong. So yeah, it's basically the sound is drifting a little bit and it sounds more old school. Because older synths, I have a Dave Smith Pro 2 here, which is not that old, but when I have an old Moog, I remember that, you know, depending on the room temperature and the moisture in the air, the synth was behaving differently. So that's where you go, that's the old school sound. So yeah, let me play it and then turn it on. Little bit of EQ. Shaper box for sidechaining, yes, that's turned on in a break, turned off. Delay. And with this reverb. And another sidechain in the drop section. The paths will be Serum and Omnisphere or Avenger? Avenger. So we have Avenger, Smooth and Silky Blades, and Omnisphere will be Battleborn. Yeah, Battleborn. Let me turn the processing off. So we're using soft tube tape for a little bit of saturation again, and we're using RC20 retro color just to add a little bit of wobble, space, and magnetic fluffer, which simulates tape sound, you know, because tape was having movement as well, depending on the input drive, you know, so many different things were actually changing the timbre and the sound of the tape machines back in the day. So then we have soft tube bus processor, again, open big, yeah, why not? Shaper box for sidechain, and reverb at the end, with low cut at 790 Hz. Low pad, that's probably Nexus. Yeah, that's Nexus. String section, which is playing this. There is Contact 7 here, which I don't have anymore. I'm on Contact 8, but I think it was from Spitfire All Beyond Bang, the high violin legato section, combined with Metropolis Arc 1, high sustains, yeah. String section is Omnisphere, number 1, Adagio, Hollywood string section, yeah. And high stringy, it's from Avenger Event, again, Fantasia Bells. We have a little bit of ARP going through entirety of the track. Just regular Diva plug, search for sunrise. EQ and delay, nothing else. This break plug that comes from my Cobalt 8M from Model Electronic Synth, and it's just with reverb and delay, and it's rendered down as a WAV file.
Tell me you'll be there.
Those are all effects. Mika found this TikTok sample, which goes throughout the break. You can hear it there a little bit, and it adds. But then we come to the vocals themselves. So we have the main vocal, we have the delayed main vocal, and then I didn't want to use a regular delay VST and just, you know, make the vocal reverberated and delayed in space and time. I've actually outputted it here as a WAV file, and I'm making the delays myself. So let me play you how it sounds like.
Show me that you want me. Show me that you care.
And left and right.
Tell me that you need me. Tell me you'll be there.
So this is the main vocal.
Want me.
Fab Filter Pro Q3, which is doing absolutely nothing, to be honest. We have a Fab Filter Pro DS and Vocal Doubler from Isotope, which is another phenomenal free plugin.
Want me.
So with it,
Want me. Show me that you care.
it's adding a lot of width to the vocal while still keeping it mono compatible. Then we have another layer, which is pitched, pardon me, which is pitched higher with an OTT, so it's more powerful, and it's adding accents to the vocal itself.
Show me that you care. And tell me that you need me.
And then delay left and right, which are using Fab Filter Saturn as well, so they sound a little bit different. Antique public address.
And tell me that you need me. Tell me you'll be there.
And all together.
You want me. Show me that you care.
We have nothing on the master bus, and there is only the kick tube here, the kick itself.
Tell me you want me.
There is a Arturia preamp and Pro Q3. Oh, why are you there? Come here. Just to add the width on the top notch of the kick. And it's sidechained to the kick itself, so you only hear it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a very simple track, just a really good sound selection. It was really a pleasure to mix it and master it later. It's doing really well live because it just works. It's driving through the entirety of the track. So let me know what you want me to cover in the next video. I hope you like this one, and let's talk soon. Take care, guys. Ciao.